my name is Anna Dolopo. I'm a licensed acupuncturist, and the name of my practice is Elements in Harmony, Acupuncture, and Chinese Herbs. The name of my website is moveyourqi.com, and you also can read a lot about my work at www.blog.moveyourqi.com. If you haven't watched any of our previous videos, I invite you to do so. Today I am excited to talk about a particular subject that has really nothing to do with the acupuncture or the Chinese herbs, but it is a strong part of my particular practice. Even though I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist, listening and speaking with my patients, really interacting with them on a very personal level is greatly a part of my practice, and part of many Chinese medical practices for that matter. When I started practice 10.5 years ago, I found that many of the reasons why people were coming in for quite a few issues of their sufferings was because they weren't really fulfilling their dreams. This is especially when they felt sad or depressed or dealing with anxiety, levels of stress that were just insurmountable to them. And I felt the common denominator with all these patients was that they probably weren't really fulfilling their dreams. I'm a very spiritual person, and I incorporate a great deal of my personal life into my practice. My patients may not hear it, but when I'm working, my intention is to help the patients really stay centered and accomplish what they're here to accomplish. It's really hard as a practitioner to not bring my personal side into my profession, and that personal side of me is really believing that we all have a purpose in life. It's a very fulfilling life when we follow our passion. And so anyways, when I really felt that about 10.5 years ago, and since I've been tenured as a licensed acupuncturist, I somehow developed a style where I would really be clear with my patients. What is it that you are trying to accomplish in your life? And this doesn't matter whether these are people who are underprivileged financially or extremely wealthy. I have found that if a person is not happy doing what they want to do, doing something that they love doing, and feeling like they're contributing really what their spirit is here to do on this planet, there is something that they're lacking. And many of the books that I read on a personal level are having to do with self-help. Like right now, a friend of mine gave me The Element by Dr. Ken Robinson. This book describes what many of my other books describe, is fulfilling our passion, living out something that we were given at birth, a special gift. For example, my gift is helping people resolve their health issues, finding solutions to their health problems, whether they're physical, mental, spiritual. That's what my calling is. Some people have a calling to be engineers, or physicians, or nurses, or teachers, or computer programmers, or musicians, or actors. You name it, they have this purpose. And the people that I find to be most successful and heal much more quickly in my practice are people who really know that they're fulfilling their heart's desires, and they were knowing that they were given this great deal of wisdom at birth and have somehow cultivated throughout their lives. And it's fun to watch. And then I have the opposite, where there are patients who, whether they're doing well financially or not financially, but they don't feel like they are accomplishing their dreams, doing something they want to be doing. For example, they got a degree in accounting because that's what their family wanted them to get. A degree in accounting, or a degree in engineering, or a degree in becoming a teacher. But that's not what their goals are. Their goals are really to do something, like to become an architect, or to be a musician, or fulfill these dreams as an artist. Or perhaps the surgeon really wanted to be an accountant, or the accountant really wanted to be a surgeon, but they were steered by family pressure or peer pressure to go a certain route. And there's this quote that I read once, which is, you never want a surgeon working on you when their real goal in life, and deep in their hearts, was to become a CPA. A lot of people don't realize this, but while I was an intern, I worked as a soon-to-be acupuncturist at Pacific Beach Methodist Church. I did acupuncture there, and UCSD Medical School had their medical students there. USD Law students had, law school had their students there. So it was a fun way to work with other students who are trying to help the homeless community. As a college undergraduate, I worked really closely with helping feed the poor. So this was a project that meant a lot to me that semester that I worked at that time that I had worked at the homeless shelter doing acupuncture. Really taught me a great deal. And it didn't just teach me how to be a better student, a better intern, and one day a very effective licensed acupuncturist. It taught me that these were people in the homeless community that had degrees, that worked as white-collar employees in the workforce. And I tried to really understand while I was there why they had become so impoverished, not just financially, but emotionally and spiritually, why they felt so distraught. And I also worked in 2 community medical clinics, which were Samahan Community Medical Clinics in National City and Mira Mesa in San Diego. And working with the low-income communities, which is pretty much where I came from when I was a child, lower middle class. But a lot of these people were pretty desolate financially, and it taught me why they were where they were and why they really couldn't afford higher costs for medical care. And in private practice, I have learned that even though people have more money, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily happier. So where is it that we want to be as a society? I don't think it's more money necessarily. More money always helps. It helps us pay our bills on time, and it helps us buy the things we want and fulfill and feel accomplished. But I think what we really want is a sense of peace, a sense of inner peace. And I think one of the best ways to fulfill that desire for inner peace is really fulfilling our dreams and pursuing something that means so much to us. So even though I am a practitioner of Chinese medicine, there's a big part of me that is a fighter and a musician and an actress. And I show Staffordshire Bull Terriers. I have a history of rescuing animals. There are many parts of me that love doing other things. There are many parts of me that people don't see every day, but those are parts of me that fulfill me. Like, I love showing dogs. I love rescuing dogs. I love training dogs. I'm a huge fan of Cesar Millan's show and Tia Maria's show and other shows like that, where they're really fulfilling their purpose in training animals. And I do agree with Cesar Millan that it's a lot easier to train an animal than it is to train a human, because we have so many emotions that we have to work out. But I think the best place to start is fulfilling our dreams. And some of my patients, especially when they get it from the beginning, are so grateful because they realize that part of the reason why they're so sick, physically, emotionally, or spiritually, is because they're not answering their calling.